Hello, I am Hitoshi Kokumai. I am advocating identity assurance by our own volition and memory. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to make my presentation titled Enemy of People. Problem: Password predicament. Passwords are said to be too vulnerable to theft and too hard to manage. Many people are an enemy of people. Some people think that the removal of the password will improve the security of digital identity. Let us examine how valid such views are. By the way, the word password is interpreted in two ways in different contexts. In some cases, it narrowly means conventional text password. In other cases, it broadly means the whole family of secret credential. I took the latter interpretation here, say, the whole family of secret credentials. What if password is removed? Our answer is, passwordless security is to cybersecurity what army-less defense is national defense, or such a pinless ATM as shown to the right. For your safety, we don't accept your insecure PIN and password. We dispense cash against the presentation of a card only. Dream machine? For whom? The army is so vulnerable to AI attack. What is vulnerable to attack is detrimental to our defense. Therefore, we must remove the army so that we'll have a stronger national defense. Hearing me mention that, you might well think I'm making a bad joke. Since this proposition sounds too insane, I'm, however, dead serious. The army-less defense should be viewed as valid, where people believe in the merit of passwordless authentication, alleging the password is so vulnerable to theft. What is vulnerable is detrimental, therefore, we need to remove the password so that we will have a stronger identity security. Well, in many of the password authentication schemes, biometrics is supposed to play a big role. Let us examine next whether and how it can displace the password. What if password is displaced by biometrics? Our answer is biometrics is the password, what the back door is the front door. Most of the user devices come with a password or PIN code authentication as a default login function. Most of the user devices that come with a biometrics login accept the login by biometrics as well as the login by a default password. Let me try to make the relation of the biometrics and the default password clearer with the pictures of with deterministic password login, to which a backdoor of probabilistic biometrics login was added as another entrance. Residents are required to use the seemingly convenient backdoor as the first choice for entry, until they get falsely rejected there by the probabilistic biometrics. The residents rejected would be required to try the front door of a deterministic password login. The correct residents with the correct memory are expected to be accepted deterministically. If the one-door house was not secure enough in the first place, the two-door house is made even less secure. Bad guys, who are now given the chance to break the back door as well as the front door, can enjoy an increased attack surface, that is, lowered defense. Now we have thus confirmed that the view that the biometrics contributes to identity security is false. Incidentally, what the being probabilistic means is that it cannot escape the trade-off between false acceptance, false positive, false match, and false rejection, false negative, false non-metaphor. It cannot be used on its own without sacrificing the availability. Whereas being deterministic means that it can be used on its own. Non-text secret credential. Now we have come to confirm that removing the password would only make the matter worse. Can we only disappear? The secret credential A is made of the text credential B and the non-text credential non-B. The relations among the three elements are illustrated here. It's really a no-brainer question, unless we are so reckless to assume that a safe and orderly societal life can exist without a solid identity assurance made possible by the solid secret credential. Solution. Well, we propose that we can make use of our autobiographic memory, especially episodic memory that is colored in joyful, healing, and heartening emotion from our pleasant experience. The identity authentication by pleasant episodic image memory also enables us to, first, recognize dozens of different secret credentials effortlessly. Second, manage the correspondence between the accounts and the passwords. Third, regenerate cryptographic key on the fly. Four, provide a solid defense against advanced persistent threats. Theory, science of human memory. Easy to remember is one thing. Hard to forget is another. The observation that images are easy to remember has been known for many decades. It is not what we wish to talk. What we discuss is that images of our emotion-colored episodic memory is hard to forget to the extent that it is panic-proof. Images of toys, dolls, dogs, and the cat, for example, that our children used to love for years, would jump into our eye even when we are placed in a heavy pressure and caught in severe panic. It never fails to bring us joy and comfort. The login can now be joyful, healing, and heartening with expanded password system, EPS, that enables us to use our pleasant episodic image memory that had been acquired decades ago and solidly inscribed deep in our brain. Why the choice of secret credentials? We are free to continue to use the remember the passwords as before, although the memory ceiling is very low. Most of us can manage only up to several of them. We could opt to recognize the pictures remembered in stories where we want to reduce the burden of textual passwords. The memory ceiling is high, that is, we would be able to manage more and more of them. Where we opt to make use of episodic image memory, we would only need to recognize the hard-to-forget images. There is virtually no memory ceiling, that is, we will be able to manage as many passwords as we like without any extra efforts. Relation of accounts and the passwords. Being able to recall strong passwords is one thing. Being able to recall the correspondence between accounts and the passwords is another. When different sets of images are allocated to different accounts, those unique image matrices will be telling you which images you should pick up as your credential for this or that account. When using hard-to-forget images of our episodic memories, Expanded Password System, EPS, will free us from the burden of managing the relation between accounts and the corresponding passwords. To legacy password systems. We don't have to replace or rebuild the existing text password systems for making use of episodic memory. Images of our episodic memory can be turned into a high entropy with a simple do is to ensure that our legacy password system accepts very long passwords, hundreds of characters, for obtaining very high entropy hashed values that can stand fierce brute force attacks. Use cases. Now I would like to talk who adopted EPS for what. A telecom company who built a payment system designed for 1 million online shoppers, EPS, for accepting hard-to-forget and yet hard-to-break credentials, and for reducing the help desk cost drastically. Actually, 140,000 online shoppers enjoyed no-friction login for 5 years. An IT corporation who built a security-conscious corporate network adopted EPS, deployed in two-channel, two-factor scheme for accepting a very hard-to-break and yet hard-to-forget credentials. 1,200 employees have long enjoyed the good balance of security and usability. Japan's Self-Defense Ground Force, aka Army, adopted our solution for accepting panic-proof and yet hard-to-break credentials. The number of licenses has increased more than tenfold over the 8-year period from 2013 and is set to increase further. Mission. Our mission is to make expanded password system readily available to all the global citizens, rich and poor, young and old, healthy and disabled, literate and illiterate, in peace and in disaster. Over many generations until humans discover something other than digital identity for our safe and orderly societal life. another mission. We have for global citizens to enjoy a safer identity assurance. We need to debunk widespread misperceptions such as indispensable passwords be removed altogether and passwords be displaced by password-dependent biometrics. Who we are. With the core concept invented in early 2000, we launched the business operation in late 2001 under the name of Mnemonic Security Inc., which was the world's first company to provide software products that offer hard to forget, hard to break, and panic-proof digital identity authentication. We registered Mnemonic Identity Solutions Limited in UK in August 2020 as the global headquarters with the mission of globally promoting identity assurance by our own volition and memory for secure digital identity in post-pandemic cyberspace. Once the COVID pandemic subsides in UK and Japan, we will resume the active pursuit of the global objective. Thank you for your time.